Welcome to part two of this, my favorite movies of the year. Like I said before, I loved Civil War. It was everything I wanted it to be. Great cast, great freaking story, great effects, great action sequences, a crappy villain, but it does not destroy my love for this movie. I will always love this movie, and that's all I can say. I praise this movie to high heaven because it deserved it. One of the best of blockbusters ever made. I agree with that 100%. Now, here it is, my favorite movie of the year. The movie I saw in the beginning of this year. I laughed my ass off in the theater. I thought this was a breath of fresh air. It gave me back my manhood after it was stolen from me from that hobo with a stick. And that is the one, the only Deadpool. I love the soundtrack of this movie. You know, the moment the movie started with "Angel of the Morning, Angel, just come my thing out to me, baby." Love that song. It introduced the movie. The opening credits made me laugh hysterically. It's not wall to wall action, but the movie got the character right. Every single scene with Ryan Reynolds as this character blew my freaking mind. Look at that. That's a great card. I love this movie so much. It was the best thing I saw all year. No Sing Street for me, or Sing, or any of these Oscar bait films. This film did deserve a Golden Globe for Ryan Reynolds' performance. It's a stellar performance. He cares about this character. Tim Miller cares about the character as well as the director. Yeah, he's not coming back for the sequel, but good God, was this movie entertaining. Yes, it has its downfalls. This guy sucked as a villain. Francis, what's my name? Who cares? That's what I say. Nobody cared about you. You were a crappy villain, Francis. Ajax. And then you had the rest of the cast. I liked T.J. Miller when he was there. I thought Marina Baccarin, right here, the most gorgeous woman I've ever seen of Brazilian and slash Italian mixed I have ever seen. Just a beautiful face, gorgeous dark hair. She was a tough chick, so she wasn't just a damsel in distress. And I thought she was awesome. Warpath, the freaking girl with the short hair that has a fire moves. Awesome. The hobo with a stick wishes she can set people on fire. The ending where he's fighting Ajax with the freaking swords, and then he gets stabbed in the head, and he does this, and then he does this, and then he's like, "You're the inspiration," and he takes a knife out. That was hilarious in the theater. The movie had a scene where in the freaking scene in the car where he's attacking those guys. And it's like, have you seen this man? The movie was self-aware. It knew what it was. It broke the fourth wall out, which I love that. That's awesome. Overrated my ass. This movie was funny. This character is awesome. I'm not on a bandwagon here. I've always found this character interesting. It's redemption after Marvel screwed him over in X-Men Origins Wolverine. It was funny. It was a rebellious movie. It took chances. It took a lot of risk. It was R rated. That's why I preferred it over Civil War, because it had an R rating, which is rare for Marvel to do nowadays, and make it work. It's just a great movie. It's got a ton of features I can't wait to see. I was laughing the whole time. You know, the scenes where the yes, the violence is cartoonish, but it's awesome. The moment that guy got splattered onto the freaking side, yeah, it's CG, but it was like a Roadrunner cartoon. I was like, oh my freaking god, that's awesome. I had not seen that in a movie since Dread. You know, like all this badassery and freaking R-rated action. And I will compare it to Dread. You have put Shoot 'em Up and Dread, John Wick, and this, and it's a perfect quartet of violence and R-rated action. Is this the best action movie ever made? No, because there's better, but it's the best movie of the year because it came out in February when movies were starting to suck. This came out of nowhere. It made almost $1 billion. It was hilarious. I love the lead. Ryan Reynolds, this is one of his best performances. And I love Marina Baccarin. I think she's a gorgeous woman. Her and Ryan Reynolds, great chemistry on screen. One of the best romances I've ever seen in a superhero movie that worked, in an R-rated one, by the way. Great jokes. Yeah, some of the jokes don't work, but when they hit, I was laughing hard. My gut was hurting. And the villain dies at the end, unlike in TFA. And just the character looked great. The costume looked amazing. The eyes were moving. This is what I have to say to the freaking critics that gave this movie a hard time. He takes a knife and he slashes his wrists. Don't worry, I'm not hurting myself. And he rips it off and he does this. This is what he said to Hollywood and to the critics who gave this movie a hard time. This is what it's all about. This is what Marvel can do well. They can even make R-rated material well done. And this movie is living proof of that. Did it get a lot of high praise? Yes, because it delivered. Because it was freaking good, YouTube haters. It was freaking good. It didn't tease me. It had R rating. It had tits. It had blood. It had gore. It had freaking, freaking Colossus vomiting, which I didn't really need that, but he did that. It didn't hold back. That's what I liked about it. The hand when he cuts it off and it's very small. It looks cute when he's touching that woman's face. I don't care if it was a jerk off joke. You should have expected that going in. That's the kind of character that Deadpool is. He's like an R-rated ninja version of Spider-Man, and I loved it. I thought it was a breath of fresh air. We needed a Marvel movie that went against the grain, that was R-rated, that was different, that had a sense of humor that worked for this kind of universe. And even though we probably never see him in the MCU, he's the MCU neighbor because it's still Marvel. And it worked. And the movie benefited from the R rating. If this was PG-13, half the jokes would have been cut and it would have been censored and it wouldn't have been the same. But when you do it right, like Tim Miller did, it made the character badass and it made me live again. I was so distraught after TFA last year. Then I saw this. My testosterone levels went through the freaking roof and I couldn't be happier. I left the theater very, very satisfied. I had a smile on my face the whole time. I was like, wow, this movie actually got made and it worked. Over $700 million. It worth every penny. And the parents that took kids to this, you should be ashamed of yourself. This was not a kids movie, and I knew that from the rating, and I knew it from everything that was done in the advertisement. It's a villain. It's an anti-hero that uses guns. Were you expecting that to be G-rated? No. It took a lot of risk. It paid off, and a lot of people loved it. I'm one of them. I cannot say anything else about this movie that hasn't been said already. Him blowing the guns, I said, I'm touching myself. Yeah. I don't do that, but believe me, this movie was that worth it. It was a fantastic freaking winter movie that should have been a summer movie. And like I said, great freaking cast except for Mr. Francis, who was paying. And read this joke. Santa only comes once a year. Wink. Yeah, just great. Look at that face of Marita Baccarin. You are beautiful. I love your face in Gotham. You were beautiful in Serenity. You're a gorgeous woman. I'm glad you're a mother now. Such a MILF now. And she named her daughter Frances after the stupid villain in this. But hey, it's still a nice name. And the movie was freaking awesome. Thank you, Marvel. Thank you, Tim Miller. Thank you, Ryan Reynolds, for caring. This movie was badass. I could not say anything bad about this movie besides your villain because the soundtrack worked. Freaking Suicide Squad wished it had a freaking soundtrack like this. This had a soundtrack that fit in the movie. It wasn't like taking me out of the film. It was hilarious. And the ending where he's dressed in a robe and he's like, the movie's over, go home. It's a nod to Ferris Bueller. Nice nod, great movie. Can't wait for the sequel. And it's the best movie I saw this year. And while it won't win an Oscar for Best Picture, it is the best picture in my heart. Thank you, Deadpool, for being awesome and not disappointing me. Anyway, that's it, guys. My favorite movies and least favorite movies of the year. I hope you enjoyed it. Tell me what your favorite movies are that I might have missed. I didn't see Finding Dory, so that's not going to be on my list, sadly, but I will watch it after Christmas, so I will give you my thoughts on that. Thanks for watching my videos all the way through. I'm going to take a little break because I've done a lot of these videos for you guys. Christmas is a few days away. Can't wait for it. I'm psyched. I'm pumped to get more stuff. It's going to be great. And watch these movies if you haven't. Deadpool, freaking awesome, funny. Civil War, one of the best comic book movies since the Avengers, and it delivered in spades, and it was everything I wanted it to be. Cheers to you guys, and may your holiday be merry and bright. If I don't talk to you by Christmas, have a Merry Christmas, and I will see you definitely by New Year's to do my celebration of getting to 2017. Later.